All right, jumping right into it. This deep dive is all about passive income. Looks like you're really trying to get a handle on not just what it is, but how to, well, make it work. And you've given us a lot to work with. Articles on investing in stocks, guides for online businesses, and even some stuff about real estate and franchising.
Oh, and even some stories about multi-level marketing.
Yeah, that too, which is always interesting to unpack. I mean, did you know people are out there making money while they sleep?
Yeah, or even building real estate empires, like without having to start with tons of cash.
There's even stuff here about turning hobbies into income streams without having to quit your day job.
I have to admit, I'm already pretty hooked, so let's get started.
You know, one thing that really stood out to me going through all this material is how much they talk about a mental shift, like moving away from that, classic trade time for money thing.
Yeah.
And more towards setting up systems that can make you money, whether you're working or, having dinner with your family.
Right.
There's this one story about a guy named Robert Bly. He made over $1,000 overnight while he was out with his family.
Seriously.
Yeah, it's in one of the articles. Like, that's the kind of freedom, the flexibility that passive income can offer.
Okay, that definitely sounds appealing, but I got to be honest, I'm a little skeptical.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's easy to fall for those get-rich-quick schemes.
Right.
How do we separate the hype from the reality? It can't be all sunshine and roses.
Yeah, no magic button, unfortunately.
Building reliable passive income, I mean, that's got to take a lot of work, right?
Right.
Probably some upfront investment, too.
Yeah, you're right. There's no magic button. It takes planning, effort, and yeah, often an initial investment, whether that's time or money. But the payoff, like we saw with Robert and others, it can be significant.
So it's about working smarter, not necessarily harder.
That's exactly what a lot of these sources are getting at. It's about setting up those systems that work for you, even when you're not actively, working.
I like that. But how do you even know where to start looking? There are so many options out there, it's honestly a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I can see that.
Where do you even begin?
Well, it might sound cliche, but so many of these sources say to start with what you already know, what you're already into.
Mm-hmm.
Tap into those existing passions, the skills you already have.
Right.
They make a pretty strong case that those are like the seeds for building something truly unique, a passive income journey that can actually last.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just got to make your existing wheel roll in a different direction.
Exactly. And one of the articles, there's this guy, Richard, who loved books, and he saw that college students needed cheaper textbooks.
Okay.
So he made this platform where students could sell their used books, and he'd get a cut of each sale. He's not even keeping any inventory himself.
Wow.
And he's leveraging his love of books and, his understanding of the student market.
That's brilliant. He's not lifting a finger, just facilitating the exchange and still getting paid. I love that kind of creative thinking. It's not just about hard work. It's about working smart, finding those win-win situations.
And it's a perfect example of how you can use the internet to create those passive income streams. A lot of these sources highlight the potential of online businesses, and for good reason.
The internet really has changed the game. You can literally reach people across the globe from your couch. But to be honest, I get a little lost trying to navigate the whole online world. So many platforms and strategies.
Yeah.
Where do you even start?
I hear you. And I think, you don't have to become a tech expert overnight.
Right.
A lot of these sources talk about the importance of just having a solid website. Like, that's your digital storefront. It needs to be, user-friendly. It needs to look good.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But building a website sounds so complicated and expensive.
It doesn't have to be. There are tools out there, website builders, that make it pretty easy, even if you're not tech savvy. And you can start small, focus on the essentials, like having clear navigation, good content, a secure way for people to pay, like PayPal or ClickBank, and a way to collect email addresses, for marketing later on. There's even this tool mentioned in one of the sources, watchcount.com.
What's that?
It helps you research, what products might actually be profitable to sell online.
Huh. Tools for everything these days. I'm starting to get excited about this. But, I mean, a website's just the first step, right?
Yeah.
How do you get people to actually visit your website and, buy your stuff?
That's where marketing comes in. And one of the most effective ways to do that online is through email marketing automation.
Okay, I've heard of that, but...
Imagine having this system where every time someone signs up for your email list, they automatically get a series of emails, welcoming them, kind of guiding them towards actually buying something.
So it's like having a virtual sales assistant working for you even while you're sleeping.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like the sound of that. But how do you even get people to sign up for your email list in the first place?
Well, that's where things like content marketing come in and SEO, search engine optimization,
Yeah.
by creating content that people actually want to read,
Right.
stuff that answers their questions and making sure your website shows up in search results.
Right.
You can get people to visit your site and then entice them to sign up for your email list, maybe in exchange for some exclusive content, or a special offer.
So it's not about tricking people into signing up or spamming them with sales pitches.
Right.
It's about actually providing value, building trust.
Exactly. It's about connecting with your audience.
Yeah.
And that's actually a recurring theme in a lot of these sources.
Yeah.
One of the articles talks about this guy, Michael, who had some early success with his online business, but it stalled because he didn't have a plan for keeping people engaged for growth. He got so focused on the technical side, he forgot about the human element.
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the technical stuff, but ultimately it's about connecting with people, right?
Yeah, building community around your brand.
But how does all of this tie back into passive income? Building an online business still sounds like a lot of active work.
It is in the beginning, but that's where leverage comes in. By setting up systems and processes, things that automate tasks, you can create those recurring revenue streams. So you gradually go from, actively working to a more passive approach.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it. It's not about being completely hands-off right away. It's about building a foundation that can eventually generate income without needing your constant attention.
Exactly. And that's where things like creating and selling digital products or online courses can be really powerful. You create it once, and it can potentially make money for years with minimal effort on your part.
Okay, I'm intrigued by this online business thing.
Yeah.
But I'm also drawn to, the real world, like real estate.
Yeah, I get that.
There's something appealing about owning physical assets, building wealth brick by brick.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. And real estate does come up in several sources as a way to create passive income and build long-term wealth. One of the key strategies they talk about is buying rental properties, so you get that steady cash flow coming in.
Okay, but real estate always seems so, I don't know, complicated
Yeah.
and expensive, like way out of reach.
It can be, but it doesn't have to be. One of the articles talks about how to buy properties without a huge down payment, like finding those motivated sellers or using creative financing options. They even have the story about a woman, Joan, who bought a property way below market value just because she understood the seller's situation and could offer them a solution that worked for them.
Huh, that's a great story. So it's not just about having the money, it's about having the right mindset, the right approach.
Exactly. And the willingness to build those connections.
But once you have the property, what's the key to managing it effectively, to actually making money from it?
A lot of the sources emphasize treating your rental property like a business, not just a side gig. That means having clear systems in place, for everything.
Like what?
Like finding good tenants, screening them properly, handling maintenance, collecting rent.
Okay, so it's not just about cashing rent checks and hoping for the best.
Right. It's about being proactive, organized, having a plan in place.
Got it. But what about those nightmare tenant stories? How do you protect yourself from that?
Careful screening is key. And having a solid lease agreement, something that clearly lays out all the terms and conditions. And several sources talk about the importance of clear communication with your tenants. It's about being upfront, addressing concerns quickly, and just, maintaining that professional relationship.
So clear communication, clear expectations, and a solid legal framework.
Got it. It sounds like being a landlord is all about balancing business savvy with people skills.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that being a landlord isn't for everyone. It can be demanding, time-consuming, and sometimes, pretty stressful.
But if you're willing to put in the work and learn the ropes, real estate can be a very rewarding way to build wealth and create that passive income.
I'm seeing the appeal. But what about people who want to go beyond just owning and managing a few properties? What about building a real estate empire?
A few of the sources actually talk about that, about scaling your real estate investments. They mention things like the BRRR method: buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. It's about acquiring and improving multiple properties.
Okay.
They also talk about the importance of building a team of professionals like real estate agents, contractors, property managers, people who can help you manage a growing portfolio.
It makes sense. You can't do it all yourself, especially as things get bigger. It's about building a system, finding the right people.
Exactly. And that leads us to another interesting avenue for passive income: franchising. It's about, taking a successful business model, a brand that people already know, and helping others succeed with it.
Franchising is an interesting one. I mean, you're basically replicating a system, but it still takes a lot of work.
Oh, for sure.
You have to find the right people, train them, make sure they're upholding your standards.
Absolutely. It's not totally passive. One of the articles talks about the criteria for a franchisable business.
Wow.
They say it needs credibility, something unique about it, and a proven system that can be easily copied. They even share this anecdote about a riding academy owner thinking about franchising her business.
A riding academy. That's
Yeah.
a pretty specialized business. Would that even work as a franchise?
That's a great question, and it's something the owner would have to think about carefully. Could her business model be copied in other places? Would other people have the same passion, the expertise, the resources to run a writing academy?
I see your point. It's not just about having a great business. It's about having a business that can be successfully replicated by other people.
Exactly, and that's where due diligence comes in. Before you invest in any franchise, you need to really do your research, look into the business model, the track record of the franchisor, the support they offer.
Okay, so franchising is an option, but it's not a guaranteed path to passive income. It takes planning, research, being realistic about your own skills,
Exactly.
resources.
And that brings us to a topic that's, well, a bit controversial.
Sure.
Multi-level marketing.
Oh yeah, MLM.
It's this model that promises passive income by recruiting distributors who sell products directly to people.
MLM has a kind of mixed reputation. I've heard of people making a lot of money, but also warnings about pyramid schemes,
Right.
unethical practices.
Yeah, it's definitely something to approach with caution. One of the sources we have really digs into the ethics of MLM and the potential problems. They talk about really researching the company, understanding how the compensation works,
Okay.
and being wary of those get-rich-quick promises they often use.
So MLM is not a magic bullet. It's a business model that requires a lot of thought, research, and realistic expectations.
Absolutely. And it's not for everyone. You need a certain personality, strong networking skills, and a willingness to put in the work to build and manage a team.
I'm starting to see a pattern here, that the key to success with any passive income venture, whether it's real estate, franchising, or even MLM, is to find something that aligns with your skills and your values.
Yep.
Finding a system you believe in that you're willing to put the effort into.
Exactly. And that leads us to this really interesting concept that's becoming more and more popular, the side hustle.
The side hustle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that term thrown around.
It's all about turning your passions into profit, building a bridge to financial independence, creating a life you actually love.
Okay, but how do side hustles fit into the bigger picture of passive income?
Well, they can be a stepping stone to passive income. They let you test out business ideas, earn some extra money, and gain the skills and experience you need to eventually create a more passive income stream.
So it's about starting small, experimenting, and gradually building towards that bigger vision.
Exactly. One of the articles talks about this woman, Adriana, who was a stay-at-home mom. She loved baking, so she started selling her treats at, farmers markets and online. Eventually, she grew it into a full-blown business, creating her own line of gourmet baking mixes.
Wow, that's amazing. She turned her passion into a business while still being a mom. Yeah. That's so inspiring.
It shows you don't have to choose between, family and financial freedom. You can make both work.
Side hustles can also give you that sense of purpose, right? That creative outlet that maybe your day job doesn't.
Definitely. They allow you to, explore your passions, build new skills, create something you're proud of.
Okay, I'm really seeing the appeal of side hustles. But let's be real. Juggling a side hustle with a full-time job and family, it's a lot.
Yeah.
How do you avoid burning out?
Time management and prioritizing are huge, according to these sources. They talk about setting realistic goals, breaking big tasks down into smaller chunks, and using tools and techniques to be more productive.
So working smarter, not harder, again.
It's a common thread, for sure. And it's important to make sure your side hustle is actually something you enjoy. If you're not passionate about it, it'll just become another chore.
Right.
And you're less likely to stick with it.
Makes sense. It's about finding that balance where passion meets profit. But what about the money side of things? How do you manage your side hustle income? Make sure you're paying taxes correctly.
Several sources recommend setting up a separate bank account just for your side hustle. Keep track of your income and expenses, and maybe talk to a tax professional to make sure you're doing everything right.
So even for a small side hustle, staying organized and following the rules is key. I appreciate those practical tips. But before we go any further, I have a question that's been nagging at me. We've talked a lot about making money, building wealth, But what about leaving a legacy? Making sure our hard-earned money is used wisely, ethically.
That's a great question. And a lot of these sources actually touch on that, on legacy planning.
Legacy planning. I thought that was just for, like, rich people.
Not at all. It's for anyone who wants to make sure their money is used according to their wishes, not just left to chance or legal battles.
Hmm.
It's about making a plan that reflects your values and making sure your legacy lives on, even after you're gone.
Okay, I'm interested.
Right.
But where do you even start with something like that?
The first step is to figure out what your values are, what your vision for the future is. What do you want your money to accomplish? Who do you want to benefit from it? Once you have that clear vision, you can look into different tools and strategies like wills, trusts, charitable donations, life insurance.
Okay, so legacy planning is about more than just money.
Right.
It's about your values, your purpose,
Mhm.
making a positive impact.
Exactly. And it's important to involve your loved ones in the process, have open and honest conversations about your wishes, make sure everyone's on the same page. One of the articles even suggests creating a family mission statement outlining your shared values and goals.
I love that. Creating a shared vision for your legacy, making sure your wealth is used to make a positive impact for generations to come.
And that brings us back to this overarching theme that runs through all these sources: financial literacy.
Financial literacy. Sounds a little intimidating.
It doesn't have to be. It just means having the knowledge and skills to manage your money effectively, make good decisions, and build a secure future for you and your loved ones.
Okay, I can get behind that. Empowering yourself to take control of your finances, create a life you love.
Exactly. And it's a journey, not a destination. It's about constantly learning, growing, and adapting, because the world of personal finance is always changing.
I love that. It's about embracing the journey. This has been so eye-opening so far. We've covered so much, from real estate to online businesses, franchising, MLM. I'm starting to see the big picture, how all these strategies connect, and how important it is to find a path that aligns with my own values and goals.
That's fantastic. And remember, this is just the beginning. There's so much more to learn and explore, so keep going, keep experimenting, and keep building your path to financial freedom.
I definitely feel inspired. This deep dive has given me a lot to think about. And honestly, I'm a little overwhelmed. There's so much information, so many options, so many paths to explore.
That's completely natural, especially when you're just starting to explore the world of passive income. It can feel like a huge unknown territory,
Right.
with endless possibilities and potential pitfalls. But the key is, you don't have to do everything at once. You don't have to be an expert in everything or master every strategy.
Okay, that's good to hear. So just take it one step at a time.
Exactly. Focus on what you're drawn to, what feels right for you, and gradually build your knowledge and experience.
So don't try to conquer the whole world of passive income at once. Find a specific niche or strategy that feels exciting and achievable.
Exactly. And once you've found that area, start learning as much as you can about it. Read books, articles, listen to podcasts, go to webinars, workshops. Really immerse yourself and connect with people who are already successful in that niche.
Become a student of the game, learn from the experts, build a solid foundation before diving in.
Exactly. And as you're learning, start brainstorming ideas for how to apply what you're learning to your own situation. What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What problems can you solve for other people? What unique value can you offer?
I love those questions. They really make me think about my potential, how I can use my skills and passions to create something truly valuable.
That's great. And as you're brainstorming, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Challenge the conventional wisdom. Experiment with different approaches. That's the beauty of passive income. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
So find my own unique path, experiment, and don't be afraid to fail.
Exactly. And remember, failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every mistake, every setback is a chance to learn, to grow, and to refine your approach.
I like that perspective. It takes the pressure off. But building a successful passive income stream, even in a specific niche, it takes time, right? And effort.
You're absolutely right. There are no overnight successes here. Building something sustainable takes patience, persistence, and a willingness to put in the work, especially in the beginning.
So it's a long-term investment in my future, in my financial freedom.
Exactly. And it's important to be realistic. Don't expect to quit your job tomorrow or become a millionaire in a few months. Set achievable goals, track your progress, and celebrate those wins along the way.
Focus on the journey, not just the destination. Speaking of the journey, I'm really curious to learn more about some specific strategies. We've talked about a lot of concepts and inspiring stories, but I'm ready to get into some practical tactics, things I can actually start doing.
That's a great segue, and it's definitely something we'll dive into in the next part of our deep dive. We'll explore specific strategies for things like online businesses, real estate, and other avenues.
Oh, great.
And we'll provide you with actionable tips, resources, things you can use to start building your own passive income streams.
I can't wait. This has been so insightful so far. And I'm really excited to learn more, start putting these ideas into action.
And remember, we're here to support you every step of the way, so stay tuned for the next part, where we'll get into the nitty-gritty of passive income strategies and help you create a plan that aligns with your own goals and aspirations.